So we're gonna start. Okay. So first of all, thanks to our sponsor. Thank you very much for this event and all thing. Thank you. So the name of our session is Emperor GitHub Emperor Your Development Workflow. So your speaker for this session, so I'm Franck Billon. I'm a web developer and I'm MVP on the development technology path. And I'm with Sylvain Pontero.
Hello everybody, I'm Sylvain. I'm a TypeScript Node.js developer and I'm also MVP developer technologies.
Yeah, so let's go for the first slide. So we're gonna make a brief history of GitHub. So in October 2007, the development starting. In April 2008, there is the official launch of the application. And then the number of users will increase drastically. So in July 2010, 1 million of repositories. So this is very huge. In September 2011, over 1 million of users. And you can see in April 2016, 14 million of users and 35 million of repository. Very, very huge. This is very impressive. And as you know, in June 2018, the company was purchased by Microsoft. So the GitHub platform offers all the basic features to manage repository as all the other platforms. So Azure DevOps, GitLab, Bitbucket, etc., etc. So you got the source code management. You have the ticket management. You also have the CI/CD, so the continuous integration and continuous deployment. You also have basic project management, a wiki. You can extend the platform through the marketplace, and etc., etc. So I will just show a quick demo. Can you switch? Yeah, thank you. So here I'm on a repository. And we are on the source code management tab. So here, as you can see, we got all our source code. Here we can switch between the different branch and also switch between the tag. Here I can handle the code and I can download it. I can also clone the repository, etc., etc. There is also an issue tab. So on the issue tab, I can create a new ticket and I can label it and attach it to a milestone. So the label, there are default label, and you can create new one with new color and new name, etc. Like this, it's a custom label. And you got also the milestone. So the milestone is like version. So here we got the talk version 1. And you can assign the ticket to a milestone. And when all tickets are complete, the milestone is ready to be released. So you can see we got one ticket that is open and one ticket that is closed. So when you go on an issue, you can see here all the history of the ticket. You can assign it to a member of the team, so me or Sylvain. You can also add or delete label. And you can assign it to a project. I will talk about the project. This is the project management later. And here you can assign it to a milestone or not. You got also the pull request tab. So the pull request tab is here to handle the pull request. So you have the pull request from your coworker and also the pull request from the bot. You got the action tab. So the action tab is here to handle the CI/CD. So Sylvain will talk about it later. You got the project tab. Here you can create project board. So project board is currently very basic. So it's just a drag and drop between column like Trello. So you can add a column, you can delete column, you can rename column, etc., etc. So here we got our 2 tickets. And also you can make automation when you switch ticket between columns. So you can tell when I switch the ticket from column to do to column in progress, change the assigned person, and etc. etc. We also have the wiki. So here in the wiki, you can create from a Markdown document all the wiki attached to your project. So like the documentation, how to contribute to your project, how your project work under the hood, and things like that. We have also the security tab to handle the security on your project. I will talk about it later. And you have also the insight. So the insight is many data collect on your project, and you can see them through graph. And they are very interesting, the graph. Like you can see here all the contributor on this repository. You can see also all the checklist, so the community can easily contribute to your project. There are also the dependency graph here, where you can see all the dependency on your project. You can see also the network. So this is all the fork, the branch, etc., etc. So very interesting graph here. So we can switch back to the slide. So if you want to host a GitHub repository, you can do it on the cloud through the web application, so through the github.com. And you can also use GitHub Enterprise Server to host a GitHub repository on your own data center or in other cloud service. When you want to access to a GitHub repository, you can use many client apps. So you can use the GitHub desktop app. You can also use the CLI. So the CLI is generally available since September 2020. So it's currently you have just basic feature. You can also use the mobile app, and the mobile app is GA since March 2020. So it's also pretty new. And you can use the desktop, the web app as we use. So it's here since the beginning. Also on GitHub, you have Gist. So Gist is special repository because it's a repository that contains one or many code snippets. This is public or private, and you can search Gist on this link that we provide. And this is really interesting because when you work in a company and you have some snippet that you want to keep, you can create a Gist on GitHub, public or private. If you want to share with other people. So check out this link. You will see very interesting Gist. There is also the discussion tab. So the discussion tab allows to handle side discussion and manage the project community. You can use it to make announcements on the project, ideas for improvement, brainstorming around the project, and etc. etc. So it was announced in May 2020, and it's currently in private beta. When you go to GitHub, you can see that some of projects already have this tab, and that's because they already applied to be in the private beta. So like Next.js already have this tab. And this is a very interesting thing because currently many projects handle their community in other tools like with Discord, Slack, or things like that. So integrated directly in GitHub is very interesting. So we have also the roadmap. So the roadmap was announced in July 2020, and it's now public. So you can go to the link and see the roadmap for the current year and the next year. And now we switch to the CI/CD, and I will give the mic to my mate Sylvain.
Yes, so Microsoft purchased GitHub months ago, and so we're starting to see new thing inside GitHub. One of the missing piece was the continuous integration, continuous delivery. So of course you can plug external tools to do that with GitHub. There is no problem about that, but Microsoft and purchased GitHub, and they decide after that inside the GitHub organization to add this feature directly inside the tool. So it starts with workflow. So workflow, it's just automation. So you will create a pipeline as code by using a YAML file. Inside this file, you have a couple of instructions to do automation, to continuously build your application and deliver it. So at the beginning, you need to add an event. So with this event, you can trigger a job, and a job is a combination of multiple steps. So you also have the Github Action. So the Github Action is just a packaging for tasks. So you can use them or reuse them directly inside your workflow to automate things. So we're going to take a look on that with a demo. Yeah, and it's on the marketplace. Yep, thanks, Felix. So here, so I have a fork of this repository. This is a repository we built during the iOS NIS. And so I will show you how it works inside this repository. But when you start with GitHub Actions and GitHub Workflow, you can plug that in any repository you want. So for example, imagine I want to do automation on this this repository. This is an SJS application. I have the Action tab here, and I can click on it. So here, by default, so GitHub will propose some templates for you. So you can deploy that, for example, on Azure, AWS, and you have basic templates for that. Or you also have a suggestion. So here, for example, because this project is a TypeScript project, so GitHub suggests me to use the Dino runtime. Dino is a TypeScript runtime, but my application is a Node.js, so I don't want to use that. So for any reason, if you don't want to use this template, there is no problem. You can set up your own by clicking on this link. So we're gonna do that. So here, quite straightforward. You directly come in this interface. So you will have to commit a file in this folder, so the .github/workflows. You put a name for your YAML file. So by default now in GitHub it's main, not master. They changed that a few weeks ago. And here you have your YAML file. So it starts with a name. After that you have the on. So the on is for the event. Here it means when I have a push on the branch master. So this repository was created before the change of the branch name in GitHub. So this is why it's master. But if you start a new repository, it will be main here. So it works for the push on master when I push some code in my master branch, or if I create a pull request that need to be merged on the master branch. And after that, so you have, let's take a look here. It's the most interesting part. You have the job definition. So here I have one job. It's a build one. And the first things you need to define is the environment to run your build. So you have prepackaged agent for that. And here by default, you can use the Ubuntu latest agent version to build your application for Linux here. But you can choose, you have Windows, macOS, you have a lot of different prepackaged agent for that. So you're free to choose. And last but not least, it's the step part, quite important. So here are some steps. I will execute them. You have two use cases. So the first one is use a GitHub action. So here you can choose an action. We will take a look on the marketplace after that. Or you can use the run to execute a script. So when you are using an action, you can pick an action directly from the marketplace. So here you can imagine you want to deploy that on Azure. So you can just type Azure, and you have a couple of actions that you can use. For example, let's just click on this one. I don't know, Azure CLI action web app. And here, so you have the complete documentation, and you have so how to use it. So you have the use. It's basically use this action, and with it's the parameter you can send to the action. Of course, you have a full documentation. Most of the time when the actions are official one, you have a full documentation on that with all the details. So it's quite, it's really good. The marketplace, it's really good. So it's quite straightforward, but let's take a look on a real example now. So I come back on my repository, this one. So the fork run. So here, as you can see, I already have a workflow folder with a YAML file. And inside the YAML file, I can edit it. And when I edit it, I come back here. Of course, you can edit that directly in your VS Code instance. And you have auto-completion for that also. So it's quite good. But we will do that directly inside the website. It's easier for us. So here, this is really a basic job. So as you can see, it's exactly the same event, and I have just one job with a couple of stats. It's the same configuration, but here it's different because I'm using a Node.js application, and I have just tests for my application. So here I will just install the Node packages by executing the command yarn. After that, I'm running the test because I have a test script inside my project. And here, quite interesting is at the end, I want a Docker image. I want to deploy a Docker image in Azure. So how to do that? You can use action for that. You have basic actions. So those two actions are here to set up the right context to do the build and the publication of your image. But what is interesting here, it's the login part. So here I'm using the login part with parameters, and you can see that I'm using some secrets here. So yes, of course, you don't want to put your secret directly inside this file. It's bad. It's considered as a security issue. So you can use secrets for that. You go inside your settings, and inside the secrets, you can define a couple of secrets to work on. So I put that. This is my access to Azure and Docker Hub. So let's go back on the file. Oops. Yep. So here I'm using that. So it will log on Docker Hub, and after that, I will build and push the image. So also here again I use an action and with parameters. And for this one, I need to tag the image. So I'm using variables. It's number. This is the incremental number of the build. So to tag my image, I use the last number, last build number. So I'm sure that every tag is unique here. So this is something you can use. Of course, there is other solution. This is really one of the most straightforward. You can do better, but for the example, it's enough. And after that, I'm using the actions, the Azure actions, because I want to deploy that on Azure. So the first one is the login. So I'm using the login, and I do exactly the same as Docker for Docker Hub. I'm using the Azure credentials. I get this credential by using the Azure CLI on my machine, and I register that inside the secret part in GitHub. So when I'm authenticated, I can use the Azure SCI deployment action. So for the container instance, I push that in container instance. Of course, you can deploy that in Kubernetes if you want. But for this example, it's just container instance. And you have a couple of options here, of course. So you have the image you want to pull. You also have the login server, etc., and you can also put a location. You can add variables for that. So you can deploy this application on multiple locations if needed. So it's quite easy. So now let's just trigger that. So it's already deployed on Azure. Here I have it's working. This is my instance. I have a Swagger, so it's a vector API to compute vectors. But I have a get just for the demo. When I try it, execute, boom, and it returns me the hello world response body. We're gonna change just that for the example. So quite easy to do. Let me just update the code. Not here, inside the service. So let's put hello world updated. Wow, what a change. So let's commit that. I go back on the action. Yes, and as you can see, a build is triggered. You have the orange color is currently running. The green one here, it's this build has been done and it's succeed. And you have.
You failed on purpose.
Yes, of course, of course. So yeah, it's organized like that here, and you can take a look on all the logs for that. So let's just this build will take 3 or 4 minutes. We will go back here to see the result of the builds, but yeah, you have here everything, all the information you need. So for each step, so it takes sometimes when you need to get the log. Sometimes I noticed that sometimes it can be quite slow. Yeah. So here you have all the information with all the log, etc., etc. So as you can see, it's in live. Every time a task is done, you have some logs. So let's just run that, and let me show you a result, and we're gonna talk about another topic and switch back to this build after that. So for example, here you have all the logs. So this is a build I ran 1 hour ago. So yeah, 5 minutes to run that, and you have all the tasks. For example, the login to Docker, login succeed, build and push. Here it's quite yeah, you can see that it's okay. I'm pulling everything, extracting it, execute all the stage I have inside my Docker image because I'm building the application inside it. Okay, so let's go back on the slides to talk on. Let's wait for the end of the build and go back on the slides to talk about another topic. It's the packages one. So here I demonstrate how you can deploy the application by using an image, Docker image, but of course your project can be a library or other things. So you have yep, animation fail. You can set up a private repository for your packages in GitHub, and it can handle JavaScript packages, Java 1 with Maven, Ruby, and C#. So of course, you can use that directly in Action as a deployment if you want. So it's quite great. Also, one really huge thing is the container registry. So now you can use a GitHub to your Docker images directly on GitHub. So it's quite good. Here I didn't use that because I want to use an example with multiple external services, but you can do everything inside GitHub if you want. It's just the information, it's free for public images, but for private one, you will probably have to pay. It's a beta currently, and we're waiting for the general availability. Okay, let's take a look on the build. Is it over? Not yet. Maybe we are close to the end. Build and push. Yeah, so up. So I think the push layer, yes, it's done. So let's wait a couple of seconds for the deployment. There is only two actions. So it's quite good to have that inside GitHub now, to be honest, because everything is correctly integrated and you have the marketplace. So it's really amazing. So yeah, I just wait for the information. So we just need to deploy the Azure container instance, and I can show you that it works and everything is okay. So I think my build take maybe 4 minutes or 5 minutes. Maybe it can be improved. I don't think my Docker file is quite optimized because it took 2 minutes to build. We can probably do better. So yep, and of course you can cancel the workflow here. Oh yeah, you can publish artifacts also. So if you want to use an artifact in another step, for example, you can split your build with a dedicated step to build the package and publish that as an artifact, and you can have another step to download the artifact and deploy it. So you can have a separation between both. Yeah, and good. So now the job is complete. Everything is green. Let's go back here. So yes, I think we can take a look on the containers in Azure. Wait, please. Please, no. So maybe I can try to re-execute that. We will see. Yes, so I have the updated here, so it works. And yeah, and the starting date and hour. Yes, it's UTC, but it's the right one. So everything works correctly. So now let's talk about security.
Thanks, Sylvain. So now we're going to talk how to handle security on your repository. So on your repository, you have security tab, and in this you have policy. So security policy will allow you to show, to create a document that will show all maintained versions of your project and how to report security breaches on this project. You also have the security advisory. So it will allow you to declare a security breach on this project and also decide how to handle it. So if you want to make it publicly directly, or if you want to treat it in private and then make it public, and etc., etc. You also have the code scanning alerts. So here you will see the security alerts raised from the CI, and it will also help you to add some DevSecOps step to your pipeline. So just quick demo. So here, can we switch to, okay. Yeah. So we switch to the security tab on the project. And here we have the security policy. So when you create a new, it will allow you to create a default document. I use the default document here. So this is just a markdown document, as you see. And we have the supported version that will receive security updates. So as you see, the 5.0 is no longer supported, but the 5.1 is. And you also have the reporting vulnerability to tell people how to report a vulnerability. So this will help your community to contribute to your project. We have also the security advisory. So here you can create a new advisory. So currently I have a draft. If I want to create a new, I can go there. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you don't have, okay. Yeah, okay. So when you create it, you can define the severity, the package that are affected, also the affected version, the patch version, etc., the impact, etc. But the thing that is interesting is when you create a security alert like that, just your collaborator will see that. And then I'm the publisher. So if I want to publish it, I can, how we scroll down? Okay. So here, if I want, when we can start to make a private fork to work on this issue and fix it, and then when the thing is fixed, we have to announce the security breach on this project because maybe many other projects depend on our project, maybe many users use it, etc., etc. So we can request a CVE. GitHub will review it and add it into the common vulnerability and exposure. Or we can also just publish this advisory publicly. Okay. And then we got the code scanning alert. So here, currently it's not setting, it's not set up. So you can here choose some tool that will add security step into your pipeline. So like CodeQL that will do security analysis on the targeted language that you want. And you have many security steps this is just the beginning. So it's GA since 30 September, I think. I will talk about it later. And when you set up some step, here in this tab, you will see just the alert that is raised from the CI. So we can go back to the. Okay, just. Thank you. So GitHub also launched the Security Lab. So it's a community focused on security and driven by GitHub. It's very interesting. So we have the a system to reward for the bugs. How we see that bug? Yeah. And also they explain the utilization of the use of the CodeQL to find vulnerability across all the project on GitHub. We also have the advisory database. So we provide a link here, and on this link you can see all the CVE, so all the common vulnerability and exposure, and also the GHSA. So this is the advisory that are publicly published. And this link allows you to browse, search all known reported vulnerability and report on all projects hosted on GitHub. So this is really interesting. And if you use some dependency, you can check here if there are some. You can research CVE here, and etc. etc. You also have the Depana bot. So Depana bot is a bot, as its name says, that helps to keep the project dependencies up to date. And it's really, really important. It will raise security alerts linked to outdated dependencies. It's newly purchased by GitHub, so therefore purchased by Microsoft. And soon it will be directly integrated into GitHub. So currently it's in preview through the marketplace. So I had a demo about it, but I can't show you because we are logged with Sylvain and I do not go to the marketplace to install it. But if you go to the security tab, you will have a Dependabot, the Dependabot tab, and it will show you all the security alert that he report. But we can see something here. We can go to the pull request tab and see all the pull requests made by the Dependabot. And as you can see, so the Dependabot here want to bump the prettier version. And it's really great what he did because he did a pull request, but not just a pull request to tell me bump this version. He have a compatibility note. And it also add all the release notes since between these two versions, all the changelog, all the commit. So you can see all the commit, all the maintainer change, all the changelog, etc., etc. So this is a really great thing. Go back, yeah, to the presenter mode. And we have also the code scanning, as I show you. So it helps us to integrate DevSecOps tool in pipeline. So you can say that on every push, it will automatically launch security scans, like check if there are no secrets directly in your code, if your code is compliant with security standard on the targeted languages, etc., etc. It's GS since 30 September, so that's why currently there are some action for that, but not many. It will increase with the time. So now switch to Codespace. So it's.
Thanks, Felix. I'm sorry for the Dependabot.
No.
Sorry. So yeah. So since a couple of months, we know that now we will have a new tool inside GitHub, so-called Codespaces. This is an IDE hosted directly inside GitHub. You can have pre-configured IDs, so it's quite great, especially if you are working with, for example, you are onboarding new engineers in your team, and you want to save time, because if I remember 10 years ago, at my first job, I spent 2 or 3 days to just configure my environment. It's quite long. So here you can have this kind of things. It's really amazing. So it was announced in May 2020. Currently it's so you need to form to access to the feature. So we're gonna do a demo for the end of this talk around that because it's really just amazing. Okay, so here, let's go back on this repository. Yes. So Felix showed you that you can download or clone the code by using this button, the green one, and you have the open with Codespaces. So here, as you can see, I already have a Codespaces for this repository, but you can create new one if needed. So let's create that so you will see how it looks like. Yes, of course, I have a couple of. Yes, I am beta, so I have limitation, of course. So yeah, let's drop this one. I hope this is the right one. Yeah. Don't do a mistake because don't. So it will initialize a code space for this repository. So you have to keep in mind that the code spaces use Docker out of the wood. So you need to wait for the container to be started. So let's wait a couple of seconds.
You have a warning about the container?
A warning about the containers?
Because the file is not locally, but this is run.
Good question. I don't.
Yesterday.
Yeah, no, yes, because because it's running in a container. Okay, you will have the state, but take care. Don't put files and not commit them inside the repo, because you can drop the Codespaces. I did that yesterday, so I need to reconfigure everything for the presentation. So don't make this mistake. Sometimes it happens. Yeah. So it was my bad. I made a mistake. So yeah. So here, as you can see, this is Visual Studio Code. Huh? So you have a terminal. You have some menu here. So the editor code. So let's take a look on the editor code. So as you can see here, I can just come back on my code. This is the code I updated. And also, if I come here, sorry, I'm on Mac. My shortcut is broken. Yes, so I have the autocomplete. So all this kind of stuff, of course, is working directly with Codespaces. Well, yes, with Codespaces. So what the interesting thing is that I can install the extension I like directly from the Visual Studio Marketplace. So for example, I'm a huge fan of the GitLens extension. So no problem. You click on it. Yes, and it's installed. Yes, working. So for example, if I go back on my code, you can see that the extension is bootstrapping. And so I will have yes, I think it's worked, but I have a refresh problem maybe. Let me recheck. Demo effect. It works as expected all the time, but not for this one. Maybe with a refresh it will be okay, but I need to reload everything. No. I think yes, it's okay. So yeah, so there is a it's okay now. So yeah, there is a little demo effect. So I can access to the extension. I have everything, etc., etc. So it's quite good. So for example, if you're a huge fan of materials, no problem. You can set up your material theme. Boom, that's all. So it's quite amazing. And so you can configure your environment as you want, and you can have a shared environment for everybody if needed. One of the interesting things also is the live share. So you are inside Codespaces, and we have live share inside that. So I don't know if Felix has a VS Code. We are not prepared for that. Let's try in live. So here, for example, I start a session. I will just copy the link, and I don't know if you're on Slack or. Are you on Slack, Felix? On the TypeScript organization, by TypeScript. So let me share that. Yep. So it's this one. So I can create a session directly here. So I have the chat session, etc., etc., etc. So let's see if Felix can join. I try it a couple of times, and there is no issue. Yep. So Felix is opening the Visual Studio Code. Great. Let's go. Sure, it's loading. The file is loading. Loading file tree. Everything seems okay. Okay, so let's wait for you. You will join the repository. So this is one of the options. We have the live share, so we are waiting for Felix, but I can probably.
Joining the collaboration session.
It's currently joining. One of the other things that is really huge is that you can use Docker inside that. So it's really amazing. So you can have containers, etc., etc. So here I can show you that it works directly with the terminal. So you have Docker here inside my project. Felix coming. Yep, accept. Woohoo! So here in my live share session, yeah, Felix is here. So I can just we can just start collaborating directly inside this file, for example, the app controller one. If you can just, yep, you are inside it. I think you can start typing something inside the file and it's okay.
No,
you have.
I'm on read only.
You are on read only. Sorry. So you can just saw the file. My bad. Well, it's not super. Yeah. It's working. Yeah, you can saw the file. So for the Docker, it's quite good. So of course you can have access to Docker, all the processes directly here. So inside my project, I have because it's a Docker project. I have a script to build the image and to start a container. So I already built the image. Let me show you that directly inside Codespaces. Nope. So I can just launch that. I don't have my image. Let's start build double dot image. Yep, and it will run so the Docker to build the image. So it's really great. I just want to wait a couple of minutes again to see if everything is working correctly. And yes, so yeah, and Felix has the information on the live sharing session on the other side directly from my terminal. I don't know why I made a mistake when I create. I don't know if I can read only. Yes, you are read only because you are anonymous, maybe. Yeah. Okay. So I think we have a couple of minutes, so let's just build that. So yeah, it's quite good. So it's really interesting because with Codespaces now, GitHub Actions, the security, etc., we really have a complete environment now. I know why. I don't have the build because I create a new one. Sorry. Okay. No, I don't waste our time. Let's don't waste our time with that. I'm sorry.
You already have the build image on the
Yes, I already have the inside the other Codespaces. I'm sorry, didn't think about that. So it's this one. I already have it. Sorry for that. Yep, connect. So when you close your session, you need to be reconnected to the Codespace, your Codespace.
And when you are inactive too long time, the Codespace is shut down.
Yes, it's shutting down. Yep, right. Okay, so now it's good. Let's. Terminal is starting. Yes, good. Everything is okay. So that's why I just put Docker images, and I don't have my images, but I use a brand new. Yeah, here it's my images. So I can just use. Yeah, I have all my autocomplete. So I can start the container by using a dedicated npm script I have in my project to start Docker. Oh, sorry, did a mistake. It's not easy to use the microphone and type on your keyboard at the same time. It's a container. Boom. Okay, it works. So the container is ready to be used. So you know I'm a Node.js developer, Felix. I'm a backend developer. So for me, it's really amazing because here I install an extension to execute REST API. And so I have an example. And here I can send a request on my APM and boom, I have the result directly inside Codespaces with a running Docker image directly inside that. To be honest, for it's Inception. For backend developer, it's really it's fire. So it's really amazing. So it's just a quick demonstration of the tool because it's like Visual Studio, you have a lot of options around that. So you can configure that as you want. And we are really waiting for the general availability. So stay tuned around this topic because it's really amazing. And for me, it's a game changer. GitHub is now the unified platform for all development workflow. So it's really great. Okay, so I think we are close to the end. So maybe we can just do a little conclusion, Felix.
Yep. So as you see, so the GitHub platform has many great features. since a few years now, the platform is evolving quickly. So we show you many products that are generally available since September, since March, since this year. So stay tuned and go to see the roadmap because there will be very great feature for the end of this year and for the next year. And also, I just want to show you a thing about the GitHub program about Arctic. So we can go to Google it, the GitHub Arctic. So currently, GitHub and Microsoft announced that the GitHub Archive program, like many other things on the earth that we want to preserve, like the seed, like many things, and they want to preserving the open source software. So they made some vault into Arctic to preserve all the open source archive. So this is a really impressive thing. You can go to the website and check about this program. It's very interesting. Yeah.
That's quite amazing. Okay.
So that's all for that. We are ready if you have any questions.
It's time for the question.
Yep.
If you have ones, maybe we can just go on.
Yeah, switch back to Teams. Yeah.
Some questions. I don't know. Chat. Nope.
Can wait 1 minute.
1 minute or two.
And then. And if you have some question after the talk, you can ask directly on Teams, I think, or ping us directly on Twitter or things like that, like you want.
Okay. So I don't think we have questions.
Yep. Okay. So thank you all for your participation. Thank you very much. We will share the slide directly, I think, in 2 teams, like Patrick and Sasha asked us. Yep. And that's all for us. Thank you very much. Bye.
Yep. Thank you very much. Goodbye.